a few years ago, wow, that time passed by,
Uh,
we used to have product-specific certification. So you would be SharePoint certified, you would be uh, Azure infrastructure wasn't even a certification back then, but it'd be SharePoint certified or Exchange certified or Skype for Business certified or C Sharp certified. Every certification would be about a product. And to give you a fictive example, which is not the case today, you would have a Power Automate certification, a Power App certification, a Power BI certification, and it would not be a role of Power Platform App Maker where you have to learn all of them. And then Microsoft said, you know what, we're not going to certify for only one product, unless you're lucky, like Teams, for example. But even in Teams, you need to know SharePoint and a bunch of other things. Tiago, I know when this was introduced, was a bit passionate about the change. So Tiago, now that it has been 7 or 8 years, I feel like time went by so
yeah,
fast. What's your
yeah. So
what's your take?
just to have a big disclaimer on this, and that's why Vlad is actually doing the question and phrasing the question this way. I was the author of the official training for Azure Developer and Azure Architect. Before we had the role-based certifications. And when we started building this, and also the Azure admin, we actually thought about, well, the product is Azure, but Azure was already really big, and we actually understood and had a vision how big it will become in the next few years, which already passed. Okay. But actually, those certifications in the non-role based were already role based. Those were the first ones, and that was the 70532, 533, and 535. Okay, they were actually already role based. So I'm actually a true believer on the role based certifications because I want to get people certified to be able to do their job. That's what we want. We want to have a certification that matches what actually people do in their jobs, and not, for example, imagine, oh, I'm back in before, we had um cloud. I'm a system administrator. Yeah, you do networking, you do a little bit of Windows Server, a little bit of Linux, a little bit of this, that, and that. And actually, you needed to collect, a bunch of certifications in order for you to do your job. Let's not talk about the non-Microsoft ones because, of course, that's totally out of the scope here. But you still had to know a bunch of different technologies or products. In here, we try to, focus on and just say, like, for example, Azure Admin, Azure Developer, Azure Architect is just focusing on what does an admin needs to do. And so the way that certifications are built very quickly is there is a group of people, subject matter experts, that they create basically a bullet point list of things that people need to know in order to be an Azure administrator. Today, this is what we feel. And then there is training courses, there's learn modules, there's exams that are built based on that list. And of course, we can always question, hey, I think we needed more Kubernetes on this or less Kubernetes or more VMs or less VMs. But I think actually they work pretty well. If I miss product based, I feel that for some kind of niches, yes, we actually miss those. And I'm sure that, for example, today, the applied skills actually come to fill that void. Okay, like for example, uh there's the niche for just like, like doing something in Power Platform, like doing like very basic flows. Yeah, there's an applied skill to fill that void. Storage accounts, yeah, there's another one to fill that void. That's very specific, very niche. Got it. So I think that's a great call out for that. And I hope I answer your question, by the way, Dale.
I am more, and I'll do this real fast. I wish we had both in a way. For example, some of the Power Platform functional consultant stuff. I'm a big Power Automate user. I wish I had something with Power Automate. I feel like Microsoft is doing that now with applied skills, where you
Mhm.
have a role based certification and a product based applied skill, which I think, Dale, is a bit of the win win. I know you put the question there twice, and the second time you talked a bit more about a win win. I can't find it now in the chat, but I feel that's the win-win that I was looking for, to have a way to do a role-based, but also if somebody in the HR department is really good at Power Automate, I want them to be able to have a credential that says they know Power Automate without them having to learn Dataverse solutions, because they might not have access to that in their environment.